The Beatles first touched down in the United States of America on 7th of February 1964. They were greeted at the newly named John F. Kennedy International Airport, New York, by, among others, around 5,000 new fans. It's unlikely that more than a handful of them had laid eyes on the musicians in the flesh before. But the excitement was total, if touching on the absurd. The Beatles were four young Englishmen who barely knew where America was, though they knew its 1950s pop music better than most. Many of the fans couldn't identify one Beatle from another, yet the group's reputation had, with a little help from a record some American critics had thought pointless, preceded them. The fans' primer, the game-changing hit of America's 1960s, so never mind the critics, was the single "I Want to Hold Your Hand," released in the U.S. the previous December. "Oh yeah, I'll tell you something, I think you'll understand." This was pure joy, pure fun. It was also, in some senses, and in its time, pure sex. This was the screaming, largely female JFK teenagers' chant. Both ways, male and female, in every way, this was now America's song. Beatles manager Brian Epstein was behind his boys' subsequent storming of the country's East Coast, which would lead to so much else and, eventually, to so many U.S. cities, right up to 29th of August, 1966, and thereafter professionally, on stage, never again anywhere. Epstein's North American campaign was as extraordinary a feat of engineering as any in the history of concert-making. During their first visit, the Beatles made 2 live TV appearances on a program, The Ed Sullivan Show, that had once featured Elvis Presley. There were also a half-hour performance in Washington, D.C., the Beatles' first live show in the U.S., 5 nights in New York, climaxing on 12th of February with 2 evening shows at the hallowed Carnegie Hall, principally a classical music venue, a week in Florida, and scenes throughout of wanton pursuit by girls, mainly, pretty well eclipsing in intensity and self-abandon Britain's epidemic of Beatlemania in 1963. America was claiming the group as its own. The Beatles were instantly, decisively penetrating there. Why? Part of the answer has to be alleviation of pain at the recent loss of so young a political leader in such inexplicable circumstances. In those post-Dallas assassination, cold winter days, Americans were in need. The suddenness of President Kennedy's death, the brutality of the theft of such promise, cried out for a major emollient. Kennedy had heralded a new age and had had the right face for it. He'd looked at and liked the future. 3 months after his murder, so did the Beatles. They were half his age. There were 4 of them. Exposure via Sullivan on a Sunday night, 9th of February 1964, to 73 million U.S. viewers is a connected part of the answer to why America fell in love. 73 million was about 40% of the population. So nearly half the mourning nation saw the fun and caught the bug. Andrew Rosenheim, now a writer and editor in England, felt this keenly. "That's just how I remember it from my perspective as an 8-year-old, watching the Beatles on my great-aunt's television set on Commonwealth Avenue in Boston." The group's early success on each side of the Atlantic was, of course, significantly boosted by the box, and by what was known then as the wireless. These initiated a rush for singles and LPs the vinyl industry had never before experienced. In America, the effect of a single TV broadcast over such immense territory was bound to bore down deeper into the cultural soil than multiple broadcasts in bits of Europe. The Beatles' story and the rise of electronic mass communications intersect at a fascinating 20th century juncture. Each partly defines the other.
To keep listening to this audiobook for free, click the link in the description. It will take you to a free Audible trial where you can listen to this and many other books for free for 30 days.